Hey, man, you got something to eat up in there? We hungry.
Spoilers review of Too Fast, Too Furious won't leave you hungry, bruh. This is Spoilers.
I'm hungry.
Bruh.
Bruh.
We are here to spoil and review Too Fast, Too Furious. This is Josh. I'm recording in my basement in Goshen, Indiana. And who was it that picked the first one? The Fast?
Me.
When Jordan picked this, first I thought
it was Long.
I thought it was a punishment movie, and then it wasn't. So then I knew I had to watch it, and I went through like the 5 stages of grief, and like I had never seen these movies, but here we are reviewing our third. And Jordan, do you remember your brother Jordan from North Carolina? Do you remember watching these when they came out at all?
No. I watched these like partially years later. I don't actually remember seeing this one now that I've watched it all the way through. I feel like I've seen parts on like TBS on a Sunday hungover, but yeah.
Pappy, you're getting quite upset with the Spoilers movie selection right now. Can you fill us in?
Yeah, that's fair to say. I am Pappy, and I'm going to be a little bit more subdued tonight. True story, I don't know my neighbors. I record in a very small apartment building, but I swear to God, just the other night, I heard someone walk by and say he was doing a racist Japanese accent. And I know they were talking about me. So I'm going to try to keep it calm. I'm not going to get too upset, not going to shout. But yeah, you're right. I fucking hate these movies so much.
So everyone, the goal is to rile Pappy up so that his neighbors call the cops on him tonight.
He's so disappointed. He was doing a racist Japanese accent. I'm like, oh no, it's me.
Stevie, you call Pappy your best friend. Why? That's your intro question.
He does funny racist Japanese jokes.
Actually, I got a real question for you though, Stevie. You were so pumped
with it.
when I picked Too Fast, Too Furious at the end of last pod. I won trivia, and now in the thread, you're super poo-pooey about this. What's up?
I was drinking pretty heavily when I did like the Let's Go. I was kind of drunk at that point, and then I watched this movie. This movie had to have been written by a 10-year-old. It's the only thing that makes sense.
All right. Fire 'em up. We go live in 5. It's time for ignition and straight up automobile pimping.
Like the first 20 minutes of this movie, you're just going, this is why Vin Diesel passed on this. Like, it's bad. It's hard to watch. So yeah, I was pretty poo-poo on it, I'll admit it.
And it had a sobering effect upon you, I guess.
It was so sobering. I was like, oh my God, who wrote this?
Mikey, bring us home and tell us, I know you got a new car recently. You want to give us some of the specs on that?
Ooh. How many tanks of NOS?
Currently 0 tanks of NOS. Trying to get that upgrade. Got to win a couple street races to get those tanks. Yeah, it's just a gray 2016 Jetta. I like it a lot. It's nice. Just got it. Pretty new. It's pretty sweet.
Is that your second Jetta?
It's his third Jetta.
It's like my third or fourth.
Oh, wow. Shit.
Does it have an ejector seat?
No ejector seat. It wasn't standard.
Ejecto Cito!
It's like a Harry Potter spell. Ejecto Cito.
So as spoilers, what we'll do for you is we'll go through this plot and we'll kind of relive the movie, and then we'll review it, give it a yes or no, then play trivia to see who gets to pick the next Fast and Furious movie in the franchise, if they so choose. Hint. But anyway, this movie starts off with a lot of Luda, and I don't know if I'm editing this episode, but maybe I'll put some Luda on in the background. But Stevie, you at least watched the first 20 minutes, you said, so maybe you can fill us in on what's happening here as Luda's, I don't know, he's like throwing a party?
So Luda owns and runs this car shop much like Dom in the first one, and it's down in Miami this time. And they're about to run a street race in the middle of, I can only imagine it's a suburb of Miami, because anyone who's ever been to Miami knows it's one of the most crowded cities there is at all hours.
The traffic is insane. There's
It
no
is
way you can do
always happening in Miami. I love that place. And for them to be able to block out streets and have no one around is ridiculous. First off, but they want to do a race, and they start blocking shit off, and there's only 3 cars. And Luda's like, we need a 4th, and he does this thing where he's like, no matter who I call. It's like such audience bait bullshit. And I love the part where he calls Paul Walker, and he's like, you in a race, man? He's like, yeah, you know I need the money. Well, if you need the money, how do you come downtown with $3,500? Like, come on.
Hey, that's only 3 tanks of NOS.
Only 3
He's not
tanks,
loaded.
exactly.
We all knew it was going to be Paul Walker who showed up. I mean, am I right? But what I wanted to throw to you, and maybe a little bit of a diversion tactic for this movie, but if you guys could have chose any actor to get out of that car when that time was right, who would you have actually wanted in this role?
Ryan Gosling as the driver, and then the Eva Mendes thing would have been so awesome too. You'd have that whole extra layer on top of it.
Like, for that time frame, Josh, or like anyone like from now? Like, who was like big at the time?
Just whoever.
Well, I mean, I think it'd have to be The Rock at that point. He was huge at that point.
Or Jason Statham. Transporter was like a pretty
comes
cool
out as Frank.
movie. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Careful, guys. The franchise will steal those ideas. And
Yeah, they end
That
up in
comes
the
later.
Mikey, this scene turns into a race because Paul Walker shows up as the 4th driver. Who wins the race?
It's obviously Paul Walker. He's the best driver. He goes into a sort of autistic superpower of street racing. It's kind of like his gift or whatever. So he wins the race, and he's going in slow-mo, and he's double-fisting NOS cans. And he's
Eating tuna, double fist and nos.
Yeah, and so I don't know. It's actually a pretty crappy race because it looks awful. I mean, there's a lot of CGI, and it doesn't look much better than like a PlayStation 2 game, so it looks pretty bad. But like, we're in the home stretch of this race, and Ludacris has like one more trick up his sleeve, and he's like, hey, press the button to his guy or whatever, and they lift a bridge that they have to fly across, and everybody was not expecting that, but Brian kind of goes with it. And,
Jesus.
Sorry.
Right into the mic.
Good
It was
God.
completely away.
was ignoring all of those. But he launches off the ramp and somehow does not die, landing his car, and then crosses first across the finish line.
Was that when he does like he jumps over the other car in midair?
And I was thinking, like, Ludacris is kind of like the genie in this movie. He, like, does a lot of the music, and he, like, just grants wishes anytime Paul Walker, like, calls him.
$10,000.
I kind of love it, thinking of it that way. But, Pappy, this is where the movie, for me, gets real muddy, and it doesn't even seem like they're trying. Paul Walker gets caught by the cops right after this, winning this match. Yeah, can you explain like how many denarii it costs to get the pod racer for the child?
So yeah, the FBI supplies the felon. The customs supplies the helicopters, and one way or another, everyone gets arrested. So no, it's like Paul Walker's the only man for the job, I guess, and he links up with the guy from the last movie, the police chief guy. I don't know his name.
He plays police chief in every movie. Just call him police chief. That's fine.
Police chief, yeah. And basically, they say, well, we need you to use your driving skills, which have improved immeasurably since the first film, to infiltrate this gangster guy, and then they try to like pair him with some guy who has like a giant double gulp in his hand, and Paul Walker's like, nah, I need my boy Roman Pearce. He's the only other man for the job.
Nah, bro.
Nah, bruh.
So this is clearly script B that was like no Vin Diesel. This is like backup critical thinking time. Like, is there any?
Why wasn't Vin Diesel in this? What was going on? What was he
read the
doing?
script.
And turned it down. 20.
He turned it down. He read the script.
Oh, for real?
For
Really?
real.
Yeah.
It was that much
Oh.
money too?
I would have
Something like that.
loved to heard his
Good
like script
God.
breakdown of why it was shit. That'd have been amazing to be in the room that day.
I mean, it is a pretty bad movie.
To think that he delivered such genius lines such as "You never
Yeah.
had your car" in the first one.
That's like a point of pride, I guess.
Vin, stand-up guy.
Do the first one and then to turn this one down, it's not like it's that much better.
And the third one.
Groot has some artistic integrity. That's
There you go.
Josh, do you? I know you like to make fun of Vin Diesel, and your favorite is not. It's not. You never had your car. It's like your favorite thing to say.
Not even the line.
But
Don't
Do you-
ruin trivia, guys.
no. I just want to
reel
say
it back.
I thought that like the first movie, like the whole scene with they're washing dishes and drinking Corona, as cheesy and stupid as it is, it gives that film some kind of a heart. Like, do you think that this movie could have used a little bit of Baby Groot in it?
I think it could have used Vin Diesel as an actor because the actors in this movie are really bad, and Vin Diesel would be a huge step up. But I think they tried to play that buddy aspect with Tyrese.
Yeah.
It tried to go extreme, and it lost. I'm going to kill myself for saying this later, but it lost what was at really the true heart of the Fast and Furious franchise to begin with.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This movie doesn't even have its car.
This movie never even had its heart.
Jordan, we smash cut into Paul Walker.
They were at a, whatever those derby things are called, like a what
Dirtbag
are they-
derby.
Demolition
Yeah.
Derby.
Demolition derby. Thank you.
Dude, they have those in
And-
Warsaw, Indiana.
I forget what they're called. I haven't been to one since I was
It's at
5.
the county fair every year, Jordan.
Twisted Metal Death Tournament.
Stevie, is that your Cole Hauser Boston accent?
I don't know what the fuck that was. I'm just trying to make this interesting. Like, going through the plot is killing my spirit, so
It's
just
pretty
go.
tough. Jordan, is there
See,
anything
you
in
cheered
the,
this movie.
maybe just talk about Tyrese's intro?
I mean, they just make him out to be like this kind of hard-ass guy, but then it becomes very clear that he's not because our boy Brian like whips his ass in the sand in like the lamest friend fight you've ever seen.
It's kind of sexy.
Yeah, that's
Two
fair.
beefcakes rolling around in the dirt.
Beefcake.
Now, you should appreciate this, Stevie. This is a page out of Point Break's book with like the beach and tackling each other and rolling all around. It's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, that or Rocky 3. You can compare it to either of those two.
So give it some props.
No.
Say one nice thing. One nice thing about the movie.
Can you give him props for wearing his probation anklet outside of his pants?
Oh my god. How ridiculous.
How did he even? How does he put on his pants each morning? Or does he? Did he
One
have
leg
to
at a
wear the
time,
same pair
man.
of
One leg at a
pants?
time.
He like tucks it down between the bracelet. Like it takes like 15 minutes to get it through.
So, Pappy, since you're our cop FBI expert, what's the
That's true.
deal they're offering Tyrese so that he will... Because he, like, hates Paul Walker.
Right. And apparently when Paul Walker became a cop, there was some kind of thing that unrelated to that went down with Tyrese, and that's why he hates all cops, including Paul Walker. But yeah, the deal is that if Roman Pearce will team up with Paul Walker to infiltrate this mob, they'll clean their records, and they'll be a free man, and he doesn't have to stay within 100 yards of his motorhome anymore.
You find out later in the movie that this big, like, thing their friendship was hinging on was, like, this big Shaggy dog story. He's just like, it actually wasn't your fault at all, man. And did you see lost opportunity there?
Yeah, I guess because there's like That's the thing I was confused about. Like, I literally thought, like, through this whole movie, I must have just missed why Roman Pearce hates Paul Walker. Like, I must have just, like, missed that fact. And then they have that scene on the beach where Paul Walker's, like, all in Puma shit, and they, like, slap hands, like, you know, it was Roman Pearce's fault the whole time. And Paul Walker, like, smiles real big, and then like, they make out or whatever. It's really weird. Maybe they don't make out. Maybe I made that part up, but...
Is that as deep as it goes? Like, did anybody actually see anything else that Pappy and I didn't see there?
I don't know why he got in trouble. He didn't even say that Paul Walker was like the one that like snitched on him or anything. He was just like, "You're a cop, man." It's like, yeah, that's my job. It's what I chose to do. It's not my fault you got arrested or whatever.
This is total Stevie question. Because this is
What's
like
up?
getting to the heart of the plot. What happened with Tyree? Do you think that he got all mad at Paul Walker because they don't explain it?
When you got busted, you know, whether I was a cop or not, you know, if there's anything I could have done, you know, I would have done it. And I just want you to know that.
When I got busted, it wasn't your fault. It was all on me. Mr. Roman Pearce. Wilding out, crazy, man. No one can tell me nothing. Riding solo.
Yeah, well, not anymore. Not anymore, bro.
So the way I look at it is...
Yes!
Yes.
Stevie Cannon.
We have like a bumper that just goes the way I look at it with some music playing in the background. And so you gotta go on
doing these questions. But I also kind of secretly love them. When Cole Hauser, who we haven't even introduced yet, Josh, it's 18 minutes into this pod. Let's go.
Tertiary.
When Cole Hauser is like looking through their bios when they're like doing that test for him, each of their names are in each other's bios, like from when they were younger. And like they're like arrest sheets and like rap sheets. I imagine it is they were getting in trouble together and kind of living that outlaw life. And then eventually Brian became a cop and Tyrese was pissed. And it's just like, how can you become a cop and we've been through all of this? And that's why he doesn't like him.
So there you have it, folks.
My take on it.
Yeah.
Is Cole Hauser related to Jon Favreau, or do they just look the exact same? Am I wrong?
They look pretty similar.
No, I got
Same
you.
hair. Exact same hair.
Well, it's more like a Money Mike Jon Favreau as opposed to Jungle Book director Jon Favreau. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah,
Josh.
Eva Mendes, we haven't introduced her either, but she's been undercover, I guess, for 11 and a half months. And she's like kind of playing right-hand man / sleeping with the boss, I think. Is that right, Mikey?
I guess she's in a abusive relationship with Cole Hauser.
I mean, how bad of an FBI agent is she where she has to be undercover for a year when she knows everything about him and all of his secrets?
But what are his secrets? What is he doing? Because I have no idea.
He's
why
washing
a bad
money
guy.
for the cartel.
He's an importer-exporter, man. Come on.
Yeah, that's all I got from it was he has very expensive cigars that need to be...
No, you're missing the deeper meaning. He's going to the second exit, not the third. Didn't they make that very clear in the final act?
Can I say something about these movies? They literally like pass through my brain so quickly and nothing sticks. Like nothing at all. Like no details, nothing. Like I've done 3 in a row and I can't tell you which one movie was which.
I didn't get any sort of money laundering vibes from Cole Hauser. I don't know if that was ever explicitly said at any point.
Cole Hauser looked like he had to fart in every scene of this movie. Like he was just holding a fart the entire time. He is such a bad actor in this movie.
That's an odd critique.
Well, you just look at his stupid face. He's not doing anything.
He's not supposed to be a Hispanic guy, is he?
He's supposed to be Argentinian. That's what I was about to bring up. How are they?
Oh my god. Are you serious?
He's supposed to be Argentinian with that accent?
Says Wikipedia.
I was wondering that the whole time because I didn't know if...
Yeah, but you guys didn't care that
confused.
Christopher Lambert played Raiden, so who are you to get off on talking about that.
Say what?
I wasn't on that pod.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, Pappy.
On
Stevie.
Mortal Kombat, Christopher Lambert.
Yeah, he played. People can be fluid. You can play all sorts of whatever. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Except for
bad.
Gingers.
Except for Gingers playing
Hispanics.
Argentinians.
That is really funny, actually. Let's try to push the plot forward here. So, one thing that stuck out in Pappy, I think they're trying to make the movie stand out by taking everything to the extreme. For instance, Cole, his way of like torturing people is like straight out of, I think, the book 1984.
Oh.
Do you remember that
the
part?
rat. Yeah. So apparently rats can steal through or chew through steel beams. And if you put a rat on top of a detective in a metal bucket, he'll do whatever you want for him for at least a little while. And so is that from 1984? It felt oddly familiar, but
It's in another movie. What is it?
Heating up the bucket so the rat digs through you. Yeah, I don't know.
It's kind of from 1984, the book, but that cop that they torture, I think, is from Sons of Anarchy. I think he's in that.
From Dark Knight too.
He's in Dark Knight.
Yeah, he's in Dark Knight.
Yeah, he's a pretty cool guy. But anyway, they tortured this dude, and apparently he's like part of the local PD, and he's gonna create a 15-minute time window and like this big job. That's really the crux of the movie, I guess, is that Tyrese and Paul Walker have to go get these bundles of money and make it to his getaway plane. Gosh.
Hey, not to go back to that rat thing, but they also do that in Game of Thrones.
That might be
Do
what
they?
I'm thinking of.
Yeah. I think
does it?
I think it's like when Arya's with Tywin and stuff like that. Kind of like around that area of the season. I don't remember, but
Mikey, did you like those practical effects with the rat bites, though? They look pretty cool.
A white guy would come up with this type of torture. This is totally a white guy move to use a rat. No, I hated everything about this movie. didn't care for any of the practical effects regarding the rat.
Can we talk about the dynamics of the party, though, where that torture's going down? It's like, I mean, every movie we've seen from this franchise has been kind of like sexually exploitive of women, but this movie like makes it more extreme, and it's just so bad. Like Paul Walker and Tyrese are like high-fiving each other as they ogle women as they walk by in the party. It's like really strange.
Yeah, we skipped over it in the beginning, but one of the drivers is a woman, and she totally wrecks her car. And Ludacris offers to fix it if she comes over to the garage to pay for it. Personally, is his suggestion. So there's a lot of stuff like that. That's just a little.
Is Suki also in Sin City? It's like a ninja.
as Miko?
Yeah.
Sounds familiar. Yeah, probably.
Pappy, I was just wondering, could you loudly do an impression of what she sounds like in this movie?
No.
Yes, she is in Sin City, though.
Slap that ass.
She seriously says that in the movie.
Yeah.
So Brian and Roman have to take several duffel bags of cash, dirty cash, I don't know. But somehow they need 2 cars for like 6 duffel bags. But anyways, they take them and they're driving, and they've got a couple of Cole Hauser's men with them. So they have to try to escape these dudes, also deliver the money to save the girl. It's a high-speed chase. There's a bunch of cops around. I'm a little confused about why there's so many cops.
Yeah. Why didn't they just take an Uber and put these into like gym bags? I'm sure nobody would have noticed at all.
It's 2003, man.
Just have Paul Walker take them in a Jeep Wrangler nobody would have batted an eye at that guy.
Pappy, you've been tying together the cops thread this whole podcast so far. What's going on? Because the FBI agent is like rooting against the cops, and he's like watching the TVs, and one cop is like staked out outside. Help us out.
Well, to be honest, like I had no idea the whole thing was about duffel bags full of money until they take a wall to this dude's trailer and revealed the money. And even at that point, I'm like, this doesn't make any goddamn sense. Like none of this makes any sense. Like I don't know. To my understanding, apparently what is it? It's the like Commerce Department. What is the government agency that's really leading this? It's like Customs. It's Customs. Yeah. So I think what the movie is trying to do in what so many countless films have done better are show that the disconnect between these different like government agencies, where Customs is kind of like the bad white guy. How the fuck are you gonna shoot at me? I'm a federal agent. And then you have like the local PD who's corrupt, and then you have like the good guys who are the FBI. But these three things kind of come to a head at the trailer park, where the guy who had the rat chewing through him, like he doesn't. What the fuck? He looks at a picture of his wife, and then he calls in the order to chase. Is that what happens?
I'm guessing he had a much bigger role that got cut way down.
We see him being like unfaithful to his wife at that party that we talked about a little bit ago. So I guess it's like supposed to be a mini arc where he cheated on his wife, and now 5 minutes later, for no reason, he feels bad about it, and we're supposed to connect those dots. But man,
good for him. Redemption.
Make it amends.
Fucking sucks.
God.
I have no idea.
I'm sure his wife will forgive him.
And because of that, he feels guilty and says, he said, don't move an inch until I fucking say so. And then like 5 minutes later, he's like, okay, I say so, go. And then they all like move in and do the chase thing.
I think one thing that Tokyo Drift 3 had even worse than this movie was at least there's a couple of stronger female characters than in that movie. Eva Mendes never really accomplished much, and I'm not sure what she was trying to do, but she also like takes a shotgun at the end and like hits Cole Hauser in the face with it. And I mean, hey,
if being an FBI undercover agent is just sleeping with the target and doing rails of coke, I think I could be an FBI agent.
Sign Mikey up.
It doesn't seem too difficult.
Girl, you know your boy can help you put that fire out. Look at the bubble on that mother.
Okay.
Can we talk about the harpoon EMPs that the government has? Those are fake, right?
Well, I'm curious about why the cops in 2003 are driving cars from 1995, but they have a 2012 EMT harpoon. Doesn't make any fucking sense.
Dude, the cops looked hilarious. They look like 80s cops, and like they would cut to a close-up of a cop just like turning the wheel quick, and like burning.
And then during this final chase scene, there's at least not one, not two, not three, but at least 4 times where a police officer is being incompetent, and it leads to a Blues Brothers-esque pile-up of police cars during this chase. It is so ridiculous.
They're just like screeching down the road and like barely turning their wheels, and the cops like just all pile up for no reason.
For no reason.
Yeah,
But you guys couldn't let go and just enjoy watching these cars and these dumb cops
I
spin
can't.
all
Josh,
around.
die on this hill.
I cannot enjoy.
Come on, that's right up your guys' alley, like bumbling cops and like everyone.
The only thing that could have improved like these like car chase scenes is if they played "The Heat Is On" for every car chase. Just no, and you just hear "The Heat Is On." It's the only thing that could have improved it.
So as I teased earlier in the pod, there's like this huge Usual Suspects, like M. Night Shyamalan twist where it's the second exit instead of the third exit. And our heroes like eventually go there.
Night Shyamalan twist.
It's huge.
Get the fuck out of here.
The twist is he accidentally missed the exit.
So it culminates
Make a U-turn ahead.
What a twist!
Culminates with Paul Walker and Tyree hitting a ramp, jumping, I would say, about 45 yards and landing into a yacht. Let's just jump into it. What problems did you guys have with this scene?
They hit the boat.
What do you mean?
At least in Starsky and Hutch, they missed.
Well, what I was getting at, like, they hit the boat. Like, what happened to all of his people? Like,
Yeah, Eva Mendes should probably be dead too.
Josh, you're right. They were all killed instantly. That's pretty fucked up, actually. Wow.
so they just like get a quadruple kill, like
Running riot.
Yeah, exactly.
I will give the film no credit, but I'll say that that effect was a practical effect, to my understanding, that they took a crane, lifted a fucking car up, and just dropped it on a boat, and that's how they did that shot. So
It didn't look bad.
you used that Vin Diesel money wisely. Good for you.
Mikey, what's that?
There was only like two car stunts in this movie, and that was one of them. And it didn't look bad. And then the other one was in the previous chase where some guy gets like annihilated by two semis. He gets
That was
caught underneath the
practical.
wheels and dies instantly. That was a pretty good stunt.
Well, also the
pretty cool,
bridge that they had to jump earlier in the movie.
That looked terrible though. That was
Slap
that ass. Yeah, that was a bad scene.
Anything involving cars and going fast was a bad scene in this movie. Okay, she's driving a convertible at the beginning, going 160 miles an hour, and her hair is holding still in Miami. Like, I noticed that right away. I was like, why isn't her hair moving? Why isn't her hair moving? Oh yeah, this movie is completely CGI.
Maybe she buys expensive gel, Stevie.
Not that expensive.
The early race scene is real bad. I mean, Mikey, you said it earlier. It looks like a PS1 game. It looks
Midnight Club Racing?
terrible. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
Great
those
game.
like stand-up arcade games. Like that's this series inspired so many shitty race games.
Stevie,
Josh.
at the very end, our good guys get their records cleaned, but what else do they get?
Money?
Family.
Family?
Respect?
A paycheck to
car.
leave set for good? I don't know.
Jeez, Stevie,
Where'd
you're
that
not
money come
playing
from?
along at all this pod.
No, I mean, Josh, this movie took my soul today. You don't understand. I think it took me all through work and some when I got home to get through this movie.
Dude, I started watching this at 8 o'clock last night. I finished at fucking midnight. I had to take breaks. So bad. I was like, I can't. I would watch 10 minutes and be like, I have no fucking idea what just happened for the last 10 minutes, and have to rewind it. Be like, no, I don't want to do that again, and take a break. It's so rough.
Okay, but I imagine they get the cars, they get the money, they get family. What else, Josh?
They have this like weird takeaway where like Tyrese is like, it wasn't just 3 duffels, it was 6 duffels. Do you guys remember that? It was
No,
real
and the
weird.
customs agent like holds his hand like lovingly. It's like, what the fuck you? So Tyrese shot at him earlier, and the customs guy hates him, and because he produced 3 more bags, now they're like tight. It's like so weird. Like it doesn't.
And that
Doesn't
customs
make any
guy,
sense.
every 20 minutes was going, they're getting away. He's making a run for it. It's like, no, he's not. We've been through this
he's
before.
not.
He's not.
Pockets ain't empty, cuz.
And we ain't hungry no more either, bruh.
And that is Too Fast, Too Furious. Oh, man. I, like, started off preparing by taking, like, really complicated notes. And I got, like, halfway through, and I was like, I'm not going to do it that way anymore. So I hope that wasn't too bad. We're, like, 35.
It's not that kind of movie.
No, it's not. So,
I do have a question. Is Too Fast, Too Furious, Josh, the embodiment of what you always thought this franchise was? Is this movie why you were so anti ever getting into it at all?
I think, like, those lines, like, we hungry, and, like, probably people started saying that in high school and college that I heard, and I judged them because I was a worse person then. So,
You're
I mean,
fair.
yeah,
That's fair.
I think that, like, Tyrese and Paul Walker are, like, they really act like high school bully jock type people in this movie. They're, like, super aggressive, testosterone, always trying to crash the cars into crap.
American muscle.
They literally, like, yeah, they, like,
That's my boy.
they, like, knock the cops into this huge, like, bowling pin spin out, and they're like, yeah, and they, like, give each other the finger. They're, like, driving backwards on the highway.
The stair trick? We didn't talk about the stair trick.
Ooh, the stair trick.
Tell us about the
When
stair trick.
Paul Walker is staring at Eva Mendes and driving 100 miles an hour down a crowded Miami street during the middle of
yeah.
fucking rush hour, risking thousands of lives. And it's pretty badass. Woo, cool.
I didn't want to bring up the super serious subject matter early, but, like, I mean, I know of people who have literally perished because of people driving like that, and it's pretty outrageous.
Well, I want to go back to, like, even, like, the first Fast and the Furious, where they make a point of never showing anyone drinking a beer and then getting in a car, which is noble. But then if you're going to show someone doing shit like this, that's fucking irresponsible. It's insanely irresponsible. And, like, they take it a step farther in Tokyo Drift where it's high schoolers doing this, but man, when Paul Walker's doing that, like, stair trick thing, that's just not fucking cool. It really isn't cool in any way.
It's really messed up, especially when you consider looking at it from 2019. He died 5 years ago from going too fast.
And Too Furious.
Never had his car.
Oh my!
Never had it.
Let's get into yes or no's before we go any deeper into this. Yeah. Jordan, brother, give this the no it deserves.
I do not regret choosing the first Fast and the Furious movie to review on this podcast, but I do regret watching Too Fast, Too Furious. It's pretty bad, and honestly, like, I'm surprised that they were able to bring back the series to where it's now on its 9th film.
Yeah.
After this and Tokyo Drift, like, it's pretty surprising that they were able to resuscitate it and bring it back and to where.
What do you mean? This made like 8 times its money.
I know,
Did it
but
really?
The budget was $76 million and it made $236. But just like the quality of the movie is really terrible. I think it to me it watches like a crappy like A&E drama movie or something like a shitty made for TV movie. I mean, Ludacris is all right, but that's really like the only redeeming part. It's a no.
Stevie, let's just let you get it out of your system. Vomit up the hate. Let it flow.
I'll say this. This movie made me appreciate Tokyo Drift so much more. Because the driving and car scenes are so much better in that movie than they are in this. Yeah. Like, driving in Tokyo Drift is top notch. This is just pure CGI. Cole Hauser cannot act. The writing is terrible. The story makes zero sense. And, like, you honestly could have cut 45 minutes off this film. Like, that's how bad the story truly was. It would have been an hour long. Yeah, that's fine. Like, that's all you really needed in this movie. Definitely the worst Fast and the Furious movie watched so far. And I think we're out of the really bad ones as far as I know. I mean, Mikey, you're the Fast and Furious guru. Like, do they get better?
I would say 4 is like when they start
Getting better?
getting fun, but I mean, I don't know if anybody's gonna want to keep going.
It can't get worse.
It cannot get
Yeah,
worse
it can't
than
get worse than
this.
2. I think 2
I mean,
is
I think
pretty
this
bad.
is like bottom 5% movies we've ever done on spoilers, so... Fuck you, Josh, for picking this movie and make me waste my time at work and at home. Hard no.
Pappy, can you go next? And when you're giving your no, can you also give Stevie a little bit of humble pie about how he's flip-flops so easily?
Oh, no, I have already prepared that. Stevie, I was booing and you were cheering when this movie was picked. So
Did you not hear me say I was drinking?
I'm drinking right now, bitch, and I still fucking hate this movie. I've
you,
never
Pat.
not drunk on this podcast, ever. And I was pissed, and I'm still pissed. I've given every one of these fucking movies a no. They're fucking gross. They're fucking exploitive. They're fucking irresponsible. They're fucking poorly made. And, like, there's this weird, like, lane that these, like, intellectual film critics get in. We're like, oh, these movies aren't so bad. No, they are that bad. They are terrible. I've given every movie in this fucking franchise a no. I'm giving this a fucking no. And we're ruining the fucking podcast by picking fucking Fast and Furious fucking movies. Fuck, I said I wasn't gonna fucking yell!
This movie made $50 million opening weekend.
Fuck!
Opening weekend, domestic, 50 mil. Just crushed it.
I'm gonna get evicted. I'm gonna get evicted because of this podcast and my yelling about these movies. But no.
Mikey, can you bring us down a notch and give your yes or no?
I'm subdued.
This is obviously not a good movie, so it's gonna be a no. But I think anybody who says that this is their favorite movie or this is like the best one in the series or in the franchise, I think they're just contributing to the dirtbag culture in this country. I don't think they have too many brain
Mikey.
cells if this is their favorite movie of all time.
Dirtbag culture.
Yeah, like everything we've said here, they're like super aggressive in this movie. They're all really dumb. Like if you saw like Paul Walker acting like this out in your everyday life as an adult, you'd be like, that guy does not have his life together. And he probably dates a high schooler.
Both those things are true.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. There's just something when you're watching these movies that it's like, yeah, these are all the scumbag losers from high school that were obsessed with their cars. And they love these movies. But I hate this movie in particular. That's not to say I don't like the later ones. I think the later ones are just purely dumb, fun action movies. But this one is really, really bad. It's a no.
Are we going to read Brett's yes?
Do we have a read for Brett?
Inject it into my veins, please.
I don't think we have one.
Oh, he would have given it a yes.
Boo.
I'm going to
On
go.
vacation.
I haven't gone yet. I'm just going to give it a no real quick. The only thing that I think is interesting to consider here is how this movie is so bad, but yet it's not so bad it's good. Like I think Tokyo Drift hinted at times. I'm not as emotional as Pap about it, but it's pretty angering sometimes when you think about how much money is spent and how little creativity can go into a movie. $76 million. I think the series hasn't like started taking itself not seriously yet, maybe at this point. I haven't seen the later ones, so I don't know like why they're better, like you guys are saying, but hopefully it starts to be a little bit more self-reverent.
The plot is definitely there in the later ones. There's definitely a story, at least. It's not great, but there's at least a through line throughout the whole movie. This is just like scene to scene. I don't know what's going
They
on.
started writing this the day they arrived on set.
It really does have that
It
feel.
had to have. It makes zero sense why someone would read this and greenlight it.
Anyway, it's a no. So that's 5 no's, 0 yeses.
Boiled.
A maybe yes from Brett.
No.
Just a gallon of old milk.
Brett's on
When's the last
vacation.
time we had
in
a
the sun.
We haven't had a spoiled movie on this podcast in like years. Literally years. That's pretty impressive.
It's a really bad
Congrats,
movie, guys.
Yeah, Josh, great.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with picking bad movies. It's good to know why movies are bad.
Last time Mikey hosted, he was like, "This is spoilers. We'll review a movie, good or bad." He said, "Right, Mikey?"
Right?
Yeah.
Sticking to it.
All right.
We also didn't bring up that part in the movie where they're both Eva Mendes and Paul Walker are undercover, talking about being undercover in a club full of bad people.
It was just
Yeah, not very
pointless to
subtle.
get into plot like discrepancies because
So ridiculous.
What about when there's a huge FBI like hide? They're staking out the like airport and they have a SUV in like prairie grass. Like, let's move in.
You guys,
Go,
to
go.
do this is to be on the
fucking
beach
SUV.
and be like, why is there so much fucking sand everywhere? And just start punching around at the sand. Yeah, every part of this is stupid and bad.
I don't get it. This plot sucks. This movie sucks. Let's please move on as fast as possible. Trivia. Pappy, you got an order for us?
Well, Mikey was Tokyo Drift. Jordan was the first Fast and Furious, which really cool how he picked these movies out of order, guys. Way to make use of our format. And then Stevie. And
I
then,
thought it was going to end with me.
And then
The
I am
first
on,
one, man.
I am on the Schneid.
Okay, so Pappy, you will go last.
Excellent.
But the question is, are you ready, Jordan?
So I'm first?
Mikey,
'Cause
Jordan,
I was-
Stevie, Pappy.
I'm recusing myself again. I can't host.
Mikey,
Okay.
Stevie, Pappy.
Stevie
Thank you,
Pep.
Stevie Pat.
So this may be a disadvantage to go last, but you just have to go last anyway, Pap. Whoever gets it right
Cool.
first wins. What is my favorite line
What?
from the Fast and Furious series?
That's ridiculous. Everyone knows that.
I'm
You're just handing
yeah,
it.
I'm just
You're
joking.
going to hand it to Jordan.
I'm just joking. Man, it's not the real trivia. But Mikey, do you know it just for fun?
You never had your car.
Okay, that was just for me.
You
Okay.
never had your trivia
as
question.
much joy as that line brings you, Josh, it brings me that equal amount of hate and anger.
I'm trying to
You
move
know
on
that.
here.
Your laughter just gets fucking pissed.
Whew, okay.
Pappy's apartment searching right now.
I think Pappy,
on Zillow.
I'm kicked out of here.
you may appreciate my trivia because I want to bring this to a very serious note. I think this movie, I wish everyone would just slow down on the road. Don't be aggressive. People that drive
This
like
might be
this
a dark trivia
are
question.
dirt bags. How fast over the speed limit was Paul Walker going when he crashed and died? Closest to.
God.
Oh boy.
Lighthearted.
Is this a fact? Do people know this?
So, okay, so he was going between two speeds, the coroner report.
What's the difference?
And I took the median between those two. So they also know like the mile per hour zone he was in.
Well, it was one of those new electric Porsches. Those can go pretty fast. Say it was going 185.
How many over the speed limit?
Oh, over the... I don't know. 100 over the speed limit.
Okay. Stevie.
Okay, so he hit a palm tree when he died, if I remember correctly. And that thing just boomed. So,
Exploded. Yeah.
Mikey, what'd you say? 100 over?
100 over? Yeah.
That sounds right. I will go 78.
Okay. Pappy?
Give me the.
Give
Give me
you.
the under. I'll take 77.
Okay. So I don't want to make light of Paul Walker dying. It's obviously horrible, but speeding and stuff, like going fast and driving, it's just really horrible. Like I said before, I know someone who's deceased because of that. It sucks. So anyway, Paul Walker was actually going 86 and a half. That's that average in a 45 zone. So you don't have to be going hundreds of miles an hour to be like super dangerous on the road. So he was going 41 and a half over. So Pappy,
Pap wins.
you do win.
Thank God. No more of these
It's a
movies.
relief.
Oh, Fast and Furious. Here we go.
Before we see which Fast and Furious movie Pappy picks,
Yes,
let's
Pappy.
hit
Hobbs and
Spoiler
Shaw.
Man first. Take it away, Spoiler Man. Take it away.
Spoiler Man here. Our email is podcastspoilers@gmail.com. Twitter is @spoilers_pod. Our Instagram is podcast spoilers. It's lit. Please support this podcast by leaving us an iTunes review. Leave us some stars and some words. Now you can check us out on Spotify, YouTube, Stitcher, Apple, and Google Podcasts. If you enjoyed what you heard today, subscribe on SoundCloud or iTunes.
Hobbs and Shaw.
Hobbs and Shaw.
I'm ready.
You're off the schneid, Pap. Congrats.
Back-to-back schneids.
Welcome back to Spoilers. Pappy, I know you thought long and hard. You had a lot of people suggesting a lot of things. But
A lot of people in my ear.
Yeah. What did you decide to go with for our next podcast?
Well, I owe two Spoilers fans picks. You know who you are. You've reached out to us either on some social media, but sorry. I'm not picking either of those. I've spent 6 months since I picked, so fuck you. It's weird how this show works because, like I said, I was on the Schneid previously, and I got off of it when Josh was hosting Superbad, and I said there were two movies mentioned in Superbad, and both of those are my next two pick. One of them was Attack of the Clones, and the other one was McLovin, You Look Like Aladdin. And so I think it's time to do another animated movie. I'm the only one who's done animated movies on this podcast, so let's do the original version of Aladdin and get excited for what's coming up in there.
Nice. Love it.
I haven't seen it in a long, long time.
Praise Allah, let's do it.
Since I posted.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it. Aladdin will be our next movie. What year did that come out?
No idea. I'll tell you on the next episode.
91?
All right. See you next time. Thanks for listening. That was Spoilers.